Hello everybody, it's Maikito. Going over last video's picks. Player prop wise, I added one in the YouTube description and it hit. It was Ali to get 0.5 shots on target. I saw the lineup and I liked his spot to go there and he did hit that. Skamaka went over his mark by halftime. Coop Miners 0.5 shots on target, that one hit as well. The only miss was Kovar to go lower than 3 saves. I did not expect Roma to play as good as they did, honestly. And then Rodney lower than 32.5 passes. That one hit for us. And then money lines, I got one right, one wrong. Atalanta absolutely came through for us. Smashed Marseille out of the competition. And then Leverkusen against Roma, I needed them to win. They were down 2-0. They were able to bring the game back and tie and keep their undefeated season going. But they couldn't get the win. But overall, pretty good day last time. And really big slate tomorrow. And I did find some picks that I did like. So I'll get into those. My first pick, if you came from Jordan's video, then you would have seen this one already. It's the one I gave there. In the English Premier League, it is Dwight McNeil, higher than 1.5 shots assisted, playing at home for Everton, going up against Sheffield United. He averages 2.4 at home, so already over this mark. And for those that are wondering, shots assisted, it's just him passing to a teammate, and his teammate has to shoot from that shot. So we just need that to happen twice. He's gone over this mark in 4 out of 5 home games. Sheffield United allow 18.4 shots away, which is really, really high. They're a bad defensive team. And if Everton even get close to 18, he definitely goes over this mark. He will have a lot of opportunities, definitely, to beat Sheffield United. Sheffield United are a bad defensive team, and they are already relegated, which means they're out the league. They have nothing to play for anymore, so they're unmotivated. They're not even playing at home, so this should be an easier game for Everton to beat them. Everton has 16 shots away from home last time, so now they're playing at home where Everton take more shots and United allow more shots. Sheffield are weak on the wings, and that is where he plays. He plays on the wings, and he crosses the ball a lot. He takes their set pieces, and he's a good passer. So all this is just really a good mark for McNeil to go higher than 1.5 shots assisted. My next pick is in the German Bundesliga. It is Maximilian Eckstein, higher than 1 shot, playing at home for Freiburg, going up against Heidenheim. He goes from averaging 0.7 shots away from home to 1.6 at home. So I think he definitely gets that 1 shot. It's just whether he gets that second one. So he's reliable. He plays the full game, every single game. You look at the games, he plays full 90 minutes. It's not like he's super aggressive or anything. He's just there running up and down, stopping plays. And he went over this mark when he played him away from home, where he averages 0.7 shots. He had 2, and Freiburg only took 11 shots in those games. And Heidenheim go from allowing 13.3 shots at home, where Freiburg took 11, to allowing 16.9 away. So I expect Freiburg to get anywhere from 15 to 18 shots. And if that's the case, Eckstein definitely takes one. I just whether he gets a second one. So like one shot at least to be taken. I think this is a safe spot for him. He takes long shots, and he's in the box when it comes to corners. So I think it's a safe spot for Eckstein to go higher than 1 shot. My next pick is actually the opposite for his teammate. It is Lukas Kubler, lower than 1 shot. He averages 0.38 shots per 90. So he takes 1 shot every 3 games. And what we're banking on is that he doesn't take 2. Again, like Eckstein, this is a safe spot. I don't even think he takes 1. And at 1, it's safe, so he won't take that second shot. They play in the back 3, and then they play 2 wingers on the wing as well. So they are essentially a back 5 when they defend. So there's no reason for him to even go up and attack when they have so many attackers up already. When they attack, they have 5 players up, without including the 2 midfielders. So there's no reason for him to be playing up. The only way he would go over, or even potentially go over, is if they play 4 defenders, which they're not. He went under last game. He had 0. He's gone under this mark in his last 5 out of 5 games. And in one of the 5, he took 1 shot, so he didn't even go over. And in general, he's taken 7 shots in 24 games. So I think this is a safe spot for Kubler to go lower than 1 shot. My next pick in the English Premier League, it is Antoine Griezmann, higher than 0.5 shots on target, playing at home for Bournemouth, going up against Brentford. He's gone over this mark in his last 6 out of 10 games, but 3 out of the 4 games where he missed, he played Arsenal, Brighton, and Manchester City, all really good defensive teams. He went over last game away from home against Brentford, and he took that 1 shot on target. Brentford are weak against skillful wingers, which is what Semenyo is. He plays on a wing. He likes to cut in. He likes to dribble. And that's exactly how he got that shot on target in the first place in the first game. He averages 1.35 per 90, so already averages over this mark in general. And Brentford allowed 15 shots away from home, so Bournemouth take around 15 shots. So I just like this mark for Semenyo, going up against a Brentford team that are weak on the wings. He's going to abuse that, and he'll definitely take at least one shot on target, I think. So I like Semenyo, higher than 0.5 shots on target. My next pick is also in the English Premier League. It is Alonso Aola, lower than 3.5 saves, playing at home for West Ham, going up against Luton Town. In the first game away from home, he already had 0, so already way under this mark. They did a pretty good job containing Luton to bad shots. Luton did take 16 shots, but they only had 1 shot on target, and he didn't even save it. So they were good at controlling Luton to not taking any good shots at all. They averaged 4.3 shots on target at home, and they only managed to get 1 against them away. I just think this is too high of a mark for him, honestly. Luton go from averaging 4.3 on target at home, where he already went under, down to 3.1 in general. And even if they do take those 3 shots on target, 1, he will still go under this mark, and 2, Luton are actually a pretty clinical team. So even if they get, for example, 4 on target, I expect 1 or 2 to go in. So I just think this is too high of a mark for him. The reason why this mark is high is because Luton are fighting against relegation, so they expect Luton to shoot more. But like I said, West Ham did a pretty good job of containing them, and they still have players like Edson Alvarez, Souček, Paqueta, WardProwse, good at defending. And opposition Luton keepers have gone under this mark in 7 out of 10 games. So I think this is a good mark for Areola to go lower in 3.5 saves. My next pick is actually his teammate, James Ward-Prowse, to go higher than 1.5 shots assisted. He averaged 2 at home, so already averages higher than this mark, and he's gone over in 4 out of 5 home games. The only one where he didn't was against Arsenal, which is a really good defensive team. West Ham averaged 11.9 shots at home, and Luton allowed 20.4. So he's gone over this mark in 4 out of 5, where they take an average of 11 shots. And now that they're going against Luton, who allow way more, I just like this mark for him in general. He's gone over this mark in 9 out of 10 home games, in which West Ham have taken 12 or more shots. So they're definitely going to take 12. And with those extra shots, Ward-Prowse is also a set-piece taker, and he likes to play through balls and long balls. So it's a good mark against a vulnerable Luton team who's going to attack. I like Ward-Prowse to go higher than 1.5 shots assisted. My next pick is in Spain La Liga. It is Alexbay, higher than 2 shots, playing at home for Villarreal against Sevilla. If this does get bumped up to 2.5, you can take his 2.5 shots assisted. I just like it at 2.0 because I just think it's a safe spot for him. I think he definitely takes 2. It's whether he gets that 3rd, and I think he will. He averages 2.7 shots at home, and away from home he drops all the way down to 1.6. So he takes a little over an extra shot at home, which is where he's playing. He went over this mark against Sevilla away from home. Villarreal took only 5 shots away from home for some reason last time, and out of those 5 shots that they took, he had 3 of them. So he already went over this mark away from home. And Sevilla are weak at defending and allowing long shots, which is what Bayern does, and most over half of his shots are from outside the box or right inside the box. And he's had 2+ in his last 5 out of 5 games, in which obviously he starts and plays and stuff like that. And he's gone over this mark, or 2+ in 4 out of 5 home games, and 2+ in 8 out of 10. So this is a good spot. If you want to add him to like a 3-legger, you can, because he could potentially push and make it into a 2-man. But I like the safetiness and taking this at 2.0, so I like buying that to go over that. My last pick, as I was making this and doing this, he got taken off from Underdog, but he's still on Price Picks. If it comes back to Underdog, you can always take him there. But it is Cole Palmer, higher than 3.5 shots, playing away from home for Chelsea, going up against Nottingham Forest. He's gone over this mark in his last 5 out of 5 games. He's absolutely hot right now. He's their best player. They call Chelsea Cole Palmer FC for a reason. Some of those games, 4 out of those 5 games that he played was West Ham, Tottenham, Aston Villa, and Manchester City, all really good teams. And now they're playing against a weaker team in Nottingham Forest. And he shoots from anywhere. He mainly plays on the wing, and he cuts in and shoots. But now that he's been playing as a cam, he can literally shoot from anywhere that he wants. He could be coming in from the left, shooting with his left, or coming in from the right and then trying to curl it in. He can now shoot from anywhere, which is why I even like this part even more. Forest will attack, and they will be vulnerable because they're fighting relegation. So this is another good spot for Palmer to hit them on the counter, and take even more shots than what he usually would if Nottingham Forest weren't in that position anyways. So I think this is a good mark against for a really good informed player like Cole Palmer to go higher than 3.5 shots. I want to give a shout out to my partner Underdog Fantasy. You can use code Maikito, linked in the description. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. I also have my Fliff code linked in the description, which is where I send my money lines. It's a mobile app. I know not all the states allow like FanDuel and DraftKings. They don't in my state, so this is what I use. So if you want to tell mine, you can always use that. And I also have my Cashapp linked in the description. We've been doing well lately. It is never required for you guys to donate, but anything that you guys send, I really do appreciate that. And I also want to thank anybody who uses any of those codes or donates to me in general. Usually when I do money lines, I usually try to just do 2 or 3 and make them safe, and you can put them into a parlay and you can double your money. But this time, because it's such a large slate, I'm gonna just give a couple that you can take individually if you want to. It's up to you how you want to play them together if you do want to. I'm just giving you plays and you guys can do with them what you want. But the first one is a Chelsea money line against Nottingham Forest. Like I said earlier, they have Cole Palmer. He makes space. He scores. He draws so much attention to himself that he leaves other of his players, his teammates, open, and he'll score free kicks, pens, long shots, anything. It's just whether, honestly, this will come down to outscoring Forest, because I think both teams will likely score at least 1 for sure. I think Chelsea very likely scores 2. And if that's the case, I don't think it's likely that Forest can score 2. And if they do, I think they'll win, in my opinion. And if they win, they are top 6 potential. They are 7th place right now. They are right behind Newcastle, 2 points ahead of them. And so as long as they win, they're doing what they need to do to guarantee a top 6 spot. And like I said earlier in the Cole Palmer pick, Nottingham Forest are going to be vulnerable and they're going to be aggressive because they want to try to get that win. But I think this is even better for Chelsea because they like possession of the ball anyways. So if Forest press them, Chelsea will attack and they'll play them on the wings and they'll score. So I like the Chelsea money line against Nottingham Forest. My next pick is in Spain La Liga. It's Athletic Bilbao, the second half 3-way money line against Osasuna. Osasuna are much weaker defensively in the second half away from home. They've conceded 8 and 17 in the first half, but they go all the way from 8 to 19 goals allowed in the second half in 17 games. Bilbao need to win if they want to continue to fight for that top 4 spot. They are safely in 5th, but obviously they want to get that 4th spot because that's where they play Champions League soccer. And there's only a 2-goal difference between them, who are 5th, and 4th place for Atletico Madrid, which is important because if a team is tied in points by the end of the season, the goal difference is what bumps them up ahead of them, and they're only 2 goals behind them. So obviously they're going to try to score and outscore Osasuna, who are not that good of a defensive team. So even if they're winning in the first half, I don't expect them to be winning by more than 1 or 2. So if they're winning by 2 in the first half, they're obviously still going to try to press and try to get that 3rd because they are fighting for that 4th spot, which even then they might not even score in the first half because Osasuna are good defensively. So I just think that it is good mark for them. They've scored 17 goals in the first half at home, but they've scored 21 in the second half, so they scored a little more. So I think it's a good spot for Bilbao, who need to win to take their second half 3-way money line. My next one is in the German Bundesliga. It is the RB Leipzig first half 3-way money line going up against Werder Bremen. Bremen have the worst attack in the league in the first half away from home. They've only scored 3 goals in 16 games. That is absolutely horrible. Leipzig, on the other hand, have the second best attack at home in the first half. They've scored 20 goals in 16 games. This ultimately comes down to, obviously, Bremen. I don't think it's going to score because Leipzig are good defensively in the first place. It's just whether Leipzig score in the first half, which I think they will. They have a good attack. And they need to win to stay in top 4. They're 3 points ahead of Dortmund. And if they win this game, this pretty much guarantees that they'll get that 4th spot because there'll only be about 2 games left. And they've gone over this mark in they've won 4 out of the last 5 home games. And they're 10 out of 16 overall throughout the season. So I like the Leipzig first half 3-way money line against Werder Bremen. I usually don't do MLS picks because the season had started not that long ago, but I think there's been a couple of games, plenty of games to finally form some type of money lines and picks and stuff like that. So the one MLS money line that I have is Major League Soccer in the US. It is the Atlanta United money line against DC United. They've won 3 out of their 6 home games this season, and their attack is much better at home. They've scored 1 goal in 4 away games compared to 13 goals. They go from 1 goal to 13 in 6 games. It's 2 more games, but either way, it's still a 12-goal difference, which is really big. And DC have a bad attack away from home. They've only scored 5 goals in 5 games away from home, and they're likely to score 2. And if they score 2, which I think they will, they definitely win. And you get better value by just taking their money line, honestly, instead of taking their over 1.5, because there's always a chance that Atlanta United just score 1 and DC just don't score and they win that way. Atlanta like to play down the wings, which is where DC is weak against. There's plenty of opportunities for Atlanta United to attack the wings and abuse where DC United is weak at. So I like the Atlanta United money line against DC United. Thank you everybody for watching. If you like the content, would you consider liking, commenting, and subscribing? It helps boost the video out to more people. And then when you subscribe, if you want to turn on notifications on, a lot of these lines go away not too long after I post, maybe 30 minutes, some 10, depending on the line, because a lot of people obviously flock to the video and just tell exactly what I tell them to, so they catch on to that and it happens. So try to have notifications on so you can watch the video as soon as I post it. But other than that, I hope you all have a good night and we can all cash out tomorrow.